Want that big screen experience? The Fandango app gives you the best seat. Use the app, trusted by over 10 million moviegoers. Find your perfect movie, theater, and seat instantly. Download the #1 movie ticketing app, Fandango.
I was on set the day they did their first on-camera love scene. We all knew. I shouldn't be watching this.
Hello, I'm Jacqueline Coley. Welcome to Seen on the Screen, brought to you by Make It Universal and Rotten Tomatoes, where we talk movies and television with some of the people behind the scenes at NBC Universal. When entertainment works best, sometimes it opens a window into a world we've never imagined. Other times, it shows us a mirror image of our lives with a heightened sense of home. Today, we're going to dig into the question, what have you seen on the screen that has done that? My guest today is chairman of the Universal Studio Group, Pearlena Igbokwe. Pearlena, welcome to Seen on the Screen.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm so excited to speak with you. But first, I want people to know, tell us your full name and what do you do for NBC Universal?
My name is Pearlena Igbokwe. I am chairman of Universal Studio Group, and I oversee the 4 television studios at Universal: Universal Television, UCP, Universal Television Alternative Studios, that does our reality and documentary programming, and Universal International Studios, which is based in London and services a lot of our talent in the UK, Australia, and Canada. And we produce series for our sister networks like NBC and Peacock, but we also produce for outside networks such as CBS, Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, what have you. Right now we have about 100 to 105, somewhere like that, active shows. And, I think right now 70 of them are in some state of production.
Wow.
And it's across about 28 different networks. So That's what I do.
A television arms dealer, as I like to say.
Yes.
I mean, and you've got some big guns under your umbrella. But I'm curious how it began as a film fan or a television fan or an entertainment fan that then eventually came to the seat that you sit in now, because it's a nice seat. And I'm very curious about the journey to get there.
Well, I was born in Nigeria, and I came to America when I was very young, probably about 6 years old. And I think like a lot of immigrant kids, TV was my way in to the country and into the culture. I spent a lot of time watching TV, an inordinate amount of time watching TV, probably an unhealthy amount of time watching TV. But, it was, I think TV is the way I got acclimated to the culture. And I think television, because it's in the home, it does, it sort of teaches you what to value, just from the images you see. What do you value? What do you aspire to? What do you think is, culturally acceptable? What is beautiful? All those things, right? And so I've always been, like a geek for television. I watched everything. I was the kid who used to run down to the corner store to buy their TV guide for the week and then circle all the shows I was going to watch that week. But it wasn't until I got to college that I found out that you could work in television.
Yeah.
I was looking for a job and I went into career services and I saw this posting for a summer associate at NBC, 30 Rock in New York. And I was like, what? They pay you to work in television? So I applied, I got the job, and I worked for 2 summers at 30 Rock, and it was life-changing. I was working at the place where, that was associated with all of my favorite shows. So, I graduated college. I still had all those student loans, so I had to get a job that at the time could help me pay some of those loans back.
Facts.
And I worked in financial services, but I said, I have to get back to the thing that I loved. So I went to business school because I thought I want to be on the business side. I want to be behind the scenes. And then while I was there, I had a part-time job at HBO. And then I got an offer at Showtime networks, to work in marketing, by the way, because I was a marketing major in business school. And that was my entree into the entertainment business, And for marketing, after about 4 years, I made my way to Los Angeles in the entertainment department of Showtime. So that's when this trajectory of my career really started.
And not to talk about other places, but you created some incredible television over at Showtime that built your reputation that you eventually brought over here to us.
Yeah, I would say I created them. Working with writers, I have deep respect for what they do. So I would never take that title, but I did work with and develop those shows.
Yeah.
But when I was at Showtime, I worked on Soul Food, Dexter, Nurse Jackie.
Basically, I'm like, you made all of my favorite shows, so just tell me more about them.
It was definitely a great time, in my career.
It's interesting, and you're being very modest because, yes, I know the creators, it comes from their mind's eye, but you really do help shepherd these productions. And one of the things, especially in your group, is you're deciding where is the best place for it to go. Because I feel like the wrong show on the wrong platform or the wrong partner, it's almost like this great idea didn't exist. So how does that go? How do you decide which ones end up being Universal and then end up on Peacock or NBC versus you're like, okay, I know Hacks needs to be on HBO.
Right. Look, our primary focus is producing shows and making shows for our internal, networks and making sure that they have the shows that they want and the shows that we think are going to be great shows for them. So whether it's Bel-Air landing, on Peacock or based on a true story or, Reba on NBC, or obviously all the Dick Wolf shows. Obviously we're invested in NBC and Peacock's success. Now, NBC and Peacock may have finite real estate in terms of how many things they can make and produce, and so we're in business with talent that is prolific. I feel like one of my most important parts of my job is being involved in helping to choose the talent, the writer producers that we're in business with, and we want to be in business with people who are ambitious, have lots of ideas and lots of stories to tell. And often they'll have a wealth of ideas. And if we have satisfied NBC and Peacock, we'll go out to the market and you may have lots of other people who are interested. And the ability to go, sell to the external market helps us attract top talent because they know that, they can have shows in as many places as possible. And you're right. You always want to have a show in the place that is the most passionate about it, right? So, we've had great shows and we continue to have great shows on, Peacock, like say, Fight Night.
Right? I was just about to say Fight Night,
but at the time when we were pitching, say, Hacks, which is probably now like 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago, and Peacock was just starting, not even really a place yet. And so it was wonderful that we were able to take it to, Max that had launched and was looking for a show like that. And they've been able to support it. And, fast forward 4 years later and we win an Emmy for Best Comedy.
On top of Best Writing and on top of Gene Smart coming back and repeating for the next eligible year. Yeah, doing the thing. I think it's incredible. And I definitely want to shout out Fight Night because that one feels like that was right for Peacock. It 100%. Is so within the identity of Peacock.
We knew it the moment. And hats off to the producers, to Will Packer and to Kevin Hart. When they came to us, like, we have this idea based on a true story. We did this podcast and they even said, like, we think this would be great for Peacock. And we heard it. We're like, you're right. Yeah. And we went to Peacock and Peacock's like, we're all over it. Let's go make that. So.
And that's why she's the chairman of the studio.
I think that's where, like, I feel like I'm sort of the middleman at times. You're bringing the producers and the project, and you're combining it with hopefully the right place.
Well, that's an important piece, and I'm so glad you're here. All right, now we're going to get to some of the things that you've seen on the screen, and I love this because we're talking to you, head of television. We're going to do television shows. Okay. Like, this is great. We're so many episodes deep, and I'm like, and we're doing new things, so I love it. Come on aboard. We're expecting
That's
you.
the Love Boat.
That's right. And Isaac's behind the bar. Love Boat is also iconic too, because the thing about it that everybody loved is the guest stars, right? And there's another show that's coming up soon that y'all are producing that has that same vibe, and that's Suits LA.
Yeah, exactly. It's set in an entertainment law firm in Los Angeles. And so the idea is you never know who they may be representing, you know, week after week, who may be playing themselves or not playing themselves. So, you know, stay tuned.
I can't wait for that. I feel like it's going to be like the Entourage thing, where it's going to be like people parroting themselves, and it's like the Hollywood stories get exposed.
Right.
I'm sorry. I'm so ready for it.
And that's exactly what we'd want. You know, you want people to come and have fun with their image, you know, on screen.
I also think that's a great show when, like, before the show even comes out, you're already imagining what parts about it that you're gonna that you're gonna dig and enjoy. Next quote. So what are your long-term goals? Like, explain your goals long-term.
Okay, that sounds like a reality show. Oh, that's Love Island.
That is definitely Love Island.
Yeah,
and I believe this is Ree.
Because they're so eloquent.
Yes, no. And I believe this is Ree talking to Cordell, because she put that man through the paces. Can we
I do love my reality shows.
And let's be real, we have a ton of them.
Yes, we do.
We're the house.
You know, it's just a way to decompress, you know. Now overseeing our unscripted studio, I now have more visibility into that world and are now, you know, engaged in more projects in that world. But yeah, it's easy to get sucked into some of those shows like the, you know, Love Island, Love is Blind, Traitors,
Oh, we have so
$1 Million
many.
Listing.
Yes. I don't do the listing ones because then I just feel poor.
That's the thing. I just like love to you're like, oh, one day, you know.
I know. I wish it could make me feel one day, but instead it just feels like 2 days has never. But it is still fun.
Dream big, Jack.
You know what? Thank you. I needed to hear that from you. I needed to hear that. But I love that we do that. And can I just go ahead and say with Love Island this past year for us, it was everywhere. Everyone was talking about it.
It was a huge season, right?
And I'm curious for you, now that you're overseeing the unscripted, is there a big difference, or is it still the same thing? You're still just putting the pieces together.
It's still about great characters and storytelling and compelling storytelling, right? Whether someone has written it, but obviously when you can find that in real life, people gravitate towards it, which is exactly what happens on Love Island or these other reality shows when you find it's like, that's the couple that I'm rooting for. Those two and their relationship. That's the essence of storytelling and the essence of what we, you know, are lean into in scripted. So when you find it naturally and you find people who are just, you know, dramatic to begin with, you know, that's a reality producer's dream. So it's not that different. When I'm looking at a cut for a reality show, a lot of the language I use for notes is very similar, you know, in terms of, can we heighten the drama? Can we heighten the emotion, you know, or is this the right place for the, you know, for the act break or things like that? I think it's similar storytelling.
As I say, we don't produce everything. We've talked about some of the other ones, but there's a lot of incredible, I think, unscripted shows that are about to be within our label. Yeah. I'm curious if you could preview a few of those that are on the way.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of really exciting projects. We have one called The Americas, and it's one of the biggest natural history documentaries that's been done, with footage of, you know, animals and things in nature that have never been seen before.
Wow.
And our UTAS, our alternative studio, is producing that in partnership with BBC Studios, Natural History Studio. And Tom Hanks is narrating it. And it's going to be incredible. You know, it's a multi-part look at Earth's greatest supercontinent, which is the Americas. And then we also have Destination X coming up. It's all of these people who are just sort of dispatched all over the world, but they're not told where they are. And just based on the clues of the few things that they see, they have to figure out as a group where they are in the world.
So it's sort of like reverse what is it? The Amazing Race.
I
Yeah.
guess.
It's not, you're trying to get somewhere. You're just trying to figure out where you are.
Where you are.
Oh, I dig this.
And based on just like little clues. And it'll be interesting to see how well do we all know the world.
Facts.
So
I would do horrible at that game, but I would love to watch it. Love to watch it.
You'll get a chance to watch it. It'll be, coming on soon. And Jeffrey Dean Morgan is going to be hosting that. So it's going to be great.
I love him. Perfect. All right. Excellent. Incredible work on knowing what you've seen on the screen. Now we're going to go into our second popcorn bucket.
Okay.
This one's going to be true or false trivia.
Okay.
The creators of the series Soul Food cast real-life newlyweds Boris Kodjoe and Nicole Ari Parker to play romantically involved roles. True or false?
Wait, you said cast real-life newlyweds?
Yes.
They weren't married at the time, so that's
clocked it.
False.
Yeah,
okay.
That's false. They met while filming the series.
They met while filming the series, and let me tell you something. I was on set the day they did their first on-camera love scene. We all knew. We all knew. We all knew. That's all I'm going to say. We all knew when we watched it. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's going to.
There's chemistry you
cast,
and then there's chemistry.
To the point you're like, I shouldn't be watching this.
They're very pretty actors.
Yes, they are.
Who are lovely people.
Yes.
That's.
They met on the set as their characters, and they fell in love and have been married. For over 20 years. Yeah.
Shout out to the casting director, because they must have seen something in those chemistry tests to be like, yes, these two. I love that. Also, I love Boris and I love Ari Nicole. She just did, she was on Just Like That. And I was just like, I love it.
She was great. I mean, Soul Food was such a great experience for me too, because, just getting to tell that story about this Black family and the only drama was just the drama between the sisters and husbands and wives. And it wasn't about trauma or other things. It was just a family that loved each other and just trying to get through life. That at the time felt huge, for all of us who worked on the show. And it was one of the few times too, I was the network executive at Showtime on the show. We had the studio was producing, it was Paramount TV at the time. And then we had all of our executive producers, and everyone in that circle was Black. And we were telling our stories, the stories of our families. And I think we all realized that it was a gift that, and it might be an experience that we all weren't going to have again. But also the community that show created just around its audience. Again, the audience just gravitated towards that show and had their favorite characters and their favorite sister and their favorite couple. And it was one of the first times where I got to see and be part of this online community. I mean, this is early 2000s,
People got
right?
Showtime subscriptions specifically for Soul Food.
Yeah.
I remember that because it was such if you were not watching that weekly, you were missing out on culture.
Exactly. So that was such a unique experience, too, just being involved in, that show from the very beginning, the development of even like the first episode to, where we ended up 4 years later.
I think that's the other thing about television that people don't necessarily appreciate is its cultural impact. Like, you're really shaping culture. I'm curious for you, what has been the most satisfying moments of that, where that a show that you helped shepherd really was part of the conversation within the culture and maybe even brought about conversations? I think Soul Food's definitely one of those.
Yeah, Soul Food was one of them. I think This Is Us, it was definitely a show that did that, in terms of talking about family, different kinds of blended family, even talking about, racial issues within, families and, all kinds of things. That show was another, phenomenon. But none of it's ever surprised me because, as I said, I was watching TV as a very young child. And I'm always aware of the impact that television had on me because, children are so impressionable. And, I took in a lot of messages for better or for worse, right? And so I'm keenly aware that the messages that we send out to people can have an impact and can make an impression, especially on young minds. So, I do think it's important as we're telling stories, to try to tell responsible stories, and to try to have as many different kinds of faces, who are in those shows and telling those stories, as possible. So that people can see themselves reflected in, whether it's Soul Food or whether it's, Queen Latifah as, Robin McCall, the new Equalizer, or We Are Lady Parts, these young women, forming this Muslim punk rock band, or Never Have I Ever, this young, Indian girl and her Afro-Latina and Asian best friend, or Primo, or even Hacks, with this LGBTQ representation. I just think you can tell all kinds of universal stories, but they don't all have to look alike. And that's something I'm keenly aware of and that we try to do, at Universal.
I love that. Excellent. All right. So last trivia question.
Last one.
The series The Equalizer is filmed in the same neighborhood that its star Queen Latifah grew up in. True or false?
That's true, because we'll be on the streets of Newark, New Jersey, East Orange, New Jersey. By the way, I grew up in New Jersey, not far from there. So,
really?
Yeah. So I think it's, I think it was one of the really great things for Latifah to be able to go back, home, and to bring that series there, when we do shoot near her hometown. So yeah. From the time she appeared on the screen, what has she represented but such strength and empowerment, right? But also just like that sense of, I'd like to be her friend, what I mean? And so, when we were thinking about titles that we wanted to sort of reimagine, The Equalizer, obviously there were the successful movies, and we thought, well, is there a way to imagine it yet again? And Deborah Martin Chase, who's one of the producers, she had a relationship with Latifah. They had done movies together. So she brought Latifah in just to talk. And we just said to Latifah, we've been thinking about doing The Equalizer. I'm in. She was like, done.
Wow. Because
she, like, that character spoke to her, and just the notion of this woman who is out there helping the people who have no place else to go. I think just really spoke to her. And she got to be a badass.
I was just saying, you get to make Queen Latifah an action star. That's
what she wanted to do.
And I'm with it.
And the beauty of TV, you can come do it, So.
Absolutely. And I think that, and then also the stuff you do with Fright Night, one of the things that's unique to the Universal TV production is we have so many of these incredible film partners who also are great television storytellers. And so you get that sort of overlap in a way that I don't think other television studios are able to cultivate through their talent that way.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like Will Packer, has been highly successful for our film studio, and and working with our TV studio, and we have a deal with Jordan Peele on the TV side, as well as the, on the film side, and Judd Apatow. I think it's, it's one of the things that we offer here at Universal. And now with Donna Langley across both film and TV, I think it makes it even, easier for us to do that. And I think it's one of our strengths, that, as we say to people, you can flip back and forth between film and TV. And I think some of our producers, love that notion that I could make something as a feature and it may be adapted into a TV show, or vice versa.
Yeah.
And it's an easy conversation.
Love that. So again, perfect score, nothing missed.
Perfect score.
Now we're going to ruin probably the perfect score because it's my turn, but we're going to try and keep it going. I'm going to grab this.
Okay.
And we're going to dive into the world of Universal. I'm going to hand this to you.
Got it. Thank you.
All right. And if you pop the top of that and just pop it off, inside there, lovely. There are multiple choice questions because I need training wheels. I'm just kidding now. But it's also going to be hopefully something that I remember from a quote. So just read it off and let's see how I do.
Wow. It's like watching Picasso sing. Which TV series does this belong to?
Okay.
Is it Hacks, Good Girls, or The Mindy Project?
I want to say it's Hacks. Is it?
You would be correct.
Yes, only because I recognize the sass of either Deborah Vance or...
Yes.
It is, yeah.
That's a Deborah Vance sarcasm.
That's exactly right.
Yes.
Lovely.
Okay.
We also spoke to the Hacks folks here, and they talk about that show and just I would just want to spend a day in that writer's room because they have such bars.
The three creator,
Lucinda, Paul, and
Jen,
Jen,
Lucia, Paul, and Jen are amazing and so funny. And when you're on set with them, you see every single joke. They look at each other. Was that funny enough? Was that funny? And they will tweak a word, whatever. But just the characters that they've written and the journey that those two women have gone on together. I mean, every year it just gets better and better. And we just started production on season 4, which will be out, this year. And I can just, it's that. Can I say it's even better than the first 3 seasons?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because it's just gotten better and better. And that last season finale,
I know, right?
It was the drama,
and then we pick right up with the drama. Okay, next one. Okay. We only see 2 things in people: what we want to see and what they want to show us.
Okay.
Which TV series does this quote belong to? Is it Dexter, Superstore, or Grimm?
I want to say it's Dexter.
That is Dexter.
That is Dexter because
that is a Dexterism.
Because only Dolan was paying attention to Dexter, and everybody else should. And
look what he got for his troubles.
And look at what he got for his troubles.
We don't want to spoil it, but if you missed it, it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago at this point. So
you can catch up before the next series at this point.
Okay, next one.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't a failed DJ. I was pre-successful.
Oh, I do. I remember this quote, but go ahead.
Is it The Office? Is it Brooklyn Nine-Nine? Or is it The Good Place?
It was The Good Place, and that's Jason.
Jason Mendoza.
Yes. I was like, no, I recognize
idiot
with the lovely Manny Jacinto and those cheekbones.
Oh my God, isn't he not the nicest man?
Really
right?
is.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Yes, I literally remember that. I was pre-successful. I'm like, no, I remember those.
Right, we can all use that.
Yes.
Okay, final one. So far, you're doing well. Ready? Daughter, I think we should depart from this place before we choke on the fumes of this toxic masculinity.
Oh, okay.
Which TV series does this quote belong to? Is it Parenthood, We Are Lady Parts, or This Is Us?
I think that is We Are Lady Parts. Yes.
Especially
the toxic masculinity. I'm like, this is part of the gaslight generation.
Yeah.
I know where this is at. We Are Lady Parts is such a great show, though. I cannot believe it's all the shows I've seen, by the way. So I've seen Dexter, I've seen Lady Parts, and I've watched The Good Place more times than I can count.
Yeah, you did well.
I can't believe
you
it.
Did well.
I think you made me
and how do I get one of these? I love it.
Talk to the Make It Universal people.
I might know some people at Universal, right?
Exactly. No, thank you so much. You can just set that one down. We'll put it back in a moment. Now, one last thing before you get out of here. We have some rapid fire questions about your TV viewing habits. You ready? What's your favorite TV watching snack? So what are you eating on the couch?
Pretzels.
Oh, good one. Wait, sticks or curved? And are you dipping anything?
No, I'm not a dipper.
Okay.
I do like my sticks. Sometimes I do the curd. And when I'm feeling fancy, I'll go get those pretzel bites.
Ah, see, I only like sticks.
Oh, really?
I don't like the curved ones. Don't ask me why. Okay. I'm a special child.
Do you have a bad experience or something?
I don't know.
Okay.
I really don't. I think I just like the way it feels to do the little stick thingy.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's a different way to be. Last show that you binged?
The last show I binged was Love is Blind UK.
That's a good one. Wait a minute. UK. So that's after this last one then, right? Or is it before the last USA one?
Oh, yeah. There's a new one.
Oh,
wow. They just did the first season of Love is Blind UK.
I have not even gotten that far. Actor who can do no wrong, or your favorite actor?
Oh, that's Denzel Washington.
I mean, your favorite classic Universal series?
I think it's Columbo.
Oh, that's a good one.
But there's a lot of great classics. I mean, there's Murder, She Wrote, in there.
Yeah.
So
dig it. Pearlena, great choices.
Oh,
thank you so much for taking us through some of the things that you've seen.
My pleasure.
Well, you're efficient. What can we say? It was so great chatting with you today.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.